Hi guys, welcome to DTM's Reef. Week 2, Reef update, the beast. Hello and welcome, and as first thing you'll know straight away is the fish and corals are in the tank. So I've had a stressful week moving these guys over. I was really out of my comfort zone, just stressing and worrying that I was going to lose something or something would go wrong or something bad was going to happen. That's what I got stuck into my head. Luckily everything's gone perfect, so I'll run through with you what I've added. You can already see some of them, but I'll go through what I've added and then I'll let you know what happened, how I moved them and everything that I did. So first thing you'll see from last week is the 5 chromis are still doing well. They're all nice and healthy, they're eating well, and they don't seem to be squabbling at all, no fights, nothing. They're all sticking together and absolutely fine. So I added 2 common clowns, which you can see in the middle of the tank right there. I added a 1-spotted fox face over there, and if you can see him near the fox face in the bottom corner down there now, Steve the coal tank. He was the one I was worried about, but he's okay, he's doing fine. He hides a little bit in the rock, but that's something that he's always done in my other tank, so I'm not too bothered about that. I'm not worried about that, that's fine. Corals, all my corals at the moment are on the sand bed. We'll go from left to right. We've got 2 ACAM frags, one's green and purple, and the other one is red and purple. They're both doing really well, they've opened up nice. We have a candy cane, and the candy cane's doing well. It's got about 25-30 heads on it, and it's opening up, and that's absolutely fine. In the middle there we've got the big toadstool. Now it's decided to turn the other way, but when I mount them all up, I'll mount him so he's nice and he can open big. We've got another toadstool behind the big toadstool, and that's just stuck in the sand bed, and that's just a baby. We've got a purple and green hammer, branching hammer. That's doing fine, that's got about 20 heads on it. And we've got a maize coral just here, and that's doing nice and well. That's opened up. It had its feeders out last night, and it's doing really well. Also, if you can see just above, I'll get the camera off in a bit, just above the candy canes on the rockwork, you can see my red bubble tip anemone, and that's doing really well as well. I was dreading that it was going to move about during the night and get sucked into the MP40 or the Jaya, but he stayed where I put him, so I'm hoping he stays there. I know that they have a tendency to move, they like to go for a walk around the tank, so we'll see what happens there, but for now he seems okay. So moving these guys over was a nightmare, absolute nightmare. I wasn't looking forward to it at all, but it was fun, I suppose. Basically, to catch the clowns were easy to catch because they're docile. They just practically swam in a net, so they were nice to catch. Foxface and the coal tang. The coal tang wasn't too difficult to catch. I had to take out a couple of rocks. The foxface, I had to take everything out of the tank and drain 50% of the water because I just couldn't catch him too fast. So I got him in, and everything's doing fine. I was scared that I was going to get stung by the barbs on the foxface, but luckily everything's okay. No trips to the hospital for me. Everything's fine. So I got everything. I bagged everything up. I used to use the little plastic bags you get from the fish store. I got some given from my LFS, which was nice of him, and I moved everything over that way. When I got the fish and the corals here, I floated them for about, I think it was 45 minutes to an hour. I floated them for, just so that the temperature can get there, because with me moving them in the car, it's cold outside. The temperature did drop quite a bit in the bags, so once we've got them in, I just floated them for about 45 minutes and they were okay. Then I transferred. I left the fish floating, and I put the corals in first, just so that I won't put my hands in and stressing the fish out, stuff like that. Even more stress than they've already had. So I put the corals into a bucket, and then with the water that they came in with the bags, and then I drip acclimatized the corals. Once I was happy with that, I dripped them for about maybe half an hour to an hour, and once I was happy, I transferred the corals. I put them straight onto the sand bed because I don't know how they're going to take to the light. They all seem to be doing well at the moment, but I am going to be milli putting them onto the rock during the week. So we did that, put them all in, nice and happy. Within 5 minutes, all the polyps were open, nice, and all the fleshy parts of the LPS were open, nice. I was happy with that. Then I did the same thing with the fish. I drip acclimatized the fish one by one, apart from the clowns because there were 2 in one bag, and then I added them to the tank. They were hiding a little bit at first. The fox face lost all his colour, went into camouflage mode, he went grey and black. He's fine now. It took him about 10 minutes, but as soon as I put some food in, the greedy bugger was straight to the food, so I was happy with that. The cold tang, I took a little bit of extra care because I know that tangs are easily stressed and they're white spot magnets, and I didn't want anything like that happening in my tank. That's what I was scared of the most. Getting white spot day one, and that this game over. My morale had dropped, and they'd have been going into quarantine. So everything's okay. They're all eating well, perfectly fine. Now I did a water I've done a water change today, 50 litres, because when I did my test, my nitrate was showing as 10 parts per million. So I've done a water change. I've turned the skimmer on, and I've also added some carbon in my reactor. So that's running. Well, carbon reactor running, and everything's happy. So I'm going to be doing another water test tomorrow just to see what I get. My salinity is still bang on 1.025, and the pH is sitting at 8.2. The KH alkalinity is sitting at 6, so I'm going to have to raise that, but I am going to get some products and start dosing to bring that up. So we'll take that as it comes. That's going to be during the week, is that? So that'll be next week's video. Everything's running fine, no hiccups, and yeah, so everything's going brilliant. I've decided that I'm going to keep the MP40 and the Jaya running as they are, because I like the flow, getting plenty of flow. If you can see the hammer, there's quite a lot of movement on the hammer, and that's pretty much the lowest flow area of the tank. So that's doing. So another thing that I've noticed is that I'm starting to get diatoms building up on the rock. They weren't going to stay white forever, were they? Let's be honest. I'm getting little patches of brown and red here and there, and we'll follow that as it goes. At the moment, the sand is nice and clear. I've got no diatoms at all on the sand. I've looked for ages to try and find some on sand, nothing. It's just on the rocks at the moment, and we'll follow that as it goes. But my nice white rock will soon be a horrible shade of brown, unfortunately. So I'm hoping that it's not going to be too big of an outbreak, but all new tanks go through this, so it's not something that I'm worried about. So I'm just going to take you off the tripod, and I'm going to give you a closer look. Right guys, so apologies for the wavy pattern on the camera. For some reason my phone doesn't like the lights inside the tank. So we'll just have a quick whip round and we'll have a look what we've got. So we've got the maize coral, which is doing nice. It's on quite a big bit of rock is that as well, so that's doing okay. We've got the branching hammer, if it auto zooms. The branching hammer, which is doing really well. All polyps are open and all the heads are open on that. It's got about 20 heads on it. We've got the toadstool. I'll try and show you around the back of it. It's quite big, but it's flopped to the wrong side, but it doesn't matter because it's not staying there. We've got the bubble tip nem. He's only a little guy, but he's opening nice. got a load of bubble tips on him. He looks really cool. We've got the candy cane. If I can get it to focus. Candy cane there. We've got 2 acorn frags, a red and purple and a green and purple, and everything's doing well. So we can see that on the rocks are, let's zoom in on, the rocks are starting to turn a little bit of a browny red, and we're getting a little bit of diatoms. You can see it more on that rock there if you look closely. If you look along the top, you can see a few speckles of brown, and that's just the diatoms. So as you can see, guys, everything is doing wonderfully well. It's all, I couldn't have asked for it to go any smoother than it has done. I'm really pleased. That's it for this week's update. So stay tuned for next week, and we're going to be doing a little bit more about what's gone on through the week. I'm going to do some more tests and make sure get my alkalinity up to where it should be, so we can get some nice growth on these corals. But that's it for this week's reef update, guys. Thank you for watching. Leave me some comments below, and please keep tuned and check for my live streams. I've started doing a couple of live streams now. I've been getting maybe 10 to 15 watchers on there, so let's see if we can bump that up. And please like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Okay guys, thanks for watching. See ya.